Hi, and welcome back to J. Kerner for Astrology. We're here to discuss the upcoming full moon, 13 degrees of Sagittarius, on Saturday, June 3rd, or Sunday, June 4th, depending on where in the world you're tuning in from. If you're new here, I'd like to thank you for tuning in and invite you to subscribe to the channel, where we're building a community of cosmic collaborators, transforming lives through the medium of astrology. My name is Jenny Kern. I'm a holistic astrologer who uses traditional, equal, and whole sign house systems depending on your unique chart and birth location, along with traditional decans and traditional planetary rulers. Many of you have been reaching out, and while I do offer private natal chart and tarot readings, I am completely booked through the middle of July. With that being said, I'll be taking bookings in the near future for the second half of July and for the month of August. Keep in mind, it takes me 5 to 7 business days to turn around a deep diver or larger package. So if you want this for your birthday, plan a week in advance so that I can deliver it for you on your birthday. You can check the description box for more information and connections to other channels where you can explore different packages and pricings at your own time. So today we'll be reviewing this upcoming full moon at 13 degrees of Sagittarius. We'll be reviewing the planets, signs, major aspects and chart patterns involved, and how to best work with the energy. We'll wrap it up with a teaser for what to expect between this full moon and the next major lunar phase in the cycle, the new moon in Gemini on June 18th. This full moon is known as the strawberry moon because it's when strawberries come into season here in the northern hemisphere. This strawberry full moon, this full moon in Sagittarius, is at 13 degrees, or karmic, or some say lucky, number 13. It's occurring on Saturday, June 3rd, 2023, at 11:42 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. To review, a full moon is a cycle of completion, for the seeds for which were planted 6 months prior under the corresponding new moon, which in this case was the new moon in Sagittarius in 2022, which was on Wednesday, November 23rd, 2022 at 5:57 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can look back in your journals, your notebooks, see what was going on with seeds, what you were trying to manifest. I'll share what I have from my notes. It's pretty profound and on point for what's going on now. This is a culmination of what was planted, so we're harvesting seeds that were planted then, or we're experiencing a culmination of a cycle having to do with something that was going on back then. This is on the axis of knowledge and communication, Gemini and Sagittarius. This was the day before Thanksgiving here in the United States, which was November 24th, 2022. It is a time in this country where we give thanks, we come together, and we reflect on the parts of life that we're most grateful for. We practice gratitude, if only for that day out of the year. The full moon is here to illuminate and shed light on what we've been avoiding or possibly running away from. But the truth will set us free. With the sun in Gemini, this has to do with our mind and what we take in. It's focused on communication. We've got a very busy social calendar. I don't know if anyone else has noticed, but it's like the sun went into Gemini, Gemini season started, and it was like a light switch. All of a sudden, my calendar was just jam-packed with social obligations and invitations. When the sun is in Gemini, it's curious and it seeks to understand. It craves intellectual stimulation. It wants more choices, options, and more choices and options are coming in, as are new opportunities and connections. You need only remain open to receiving them. There's new information coming to light. What was previously hidden from view or done in darkness or secret, manipulation, any misuses of power. This is an expansive opportunity to welcome and invite in more harmony, beauty, love, and balance, and to spread it outwardly onto others. Be that change. With the moon in Sagittarius, we're being called to focus on the silver lining in the cloud, reminding us that when we look for good, more good finds us. Focus on the good to experience more of it. Moon in Sagittarius is a beautiful energy. My boyfriend has this energy, and it is so independent, positive, inspiring, expansive, open-minded, adventurous. It loves freedom, and it longs for self-mastery. When the moon is in Sagittarius and it's opposite the sun in Gemini, we're called to embrace change and new horizons. We're invited to expand and tap into that universal flow, to get out of our logical heads, our minds, and into the world around us. We're called to release any rigidity that we're feeling under this grand fixed cross in Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. With the sun being in Gemini, we want to look to Gemini's planetary ruler, which is Mercury. Mercury is still in Taurus, still taking a good old chill pill in Taurus, but coming into conjunction with Uranus, which is electrifying. Perhaps we're lucky that it's in the sign of Taurus, otherwise it might be too stimulating. When Mercury and Uranus align, it brings flashes of brilliance, new ideas, and innovations, along with sudden revelations or developments. Since Mercury's in Taurus, and Taurus is ruled by Venus, we need to also consider where Venus is. Venus is in the late degrees, 28 to 29 degrees of Cancer at this point in the transit. Just 2 days after this full moon, from June 5th to June 11th, Venus will be reporting to the Sun because Venus will be in Leo. Venus will be in Leo for a lot longer. We'll get into that in a bit. We only needed to focus on that for the sake of when Mercury is in Taurus, which is only until June 11th. There seems to be a large emphasis on mutable energies. In mutable fire sign Sagittarius, we have the full moon at 13 degrees of Sagittarius. This is in a very close conjunction within 1 degree of the Great Attractor at 14 degrees of Sagittarius. We also have the galactic center at 27 degrees 27 minutes of Sagittarius. This is forming a square to Pisces. Saturn in Pisces at 7 degrees, which is under the influence and reporting to a stronger planet in that sign. Neptune is in its sign of rulership in Pisces, so when Saturn's in Pisces, it answers to Neptune. Until 2026. They'll be following each other closely through Pisces and into Aries. We also have a Saturn retrograde coming up in 2 weeks, under the next new moon. This full moon opposite our sun in Gemini, which is very socially busy. It wants to learn a lot. I guess it's pretty ambitious in that way as well. It likes to seek knowledge and options and sources of information. It seeks to disseminate that. So I guess I'm seeing here a balance between work and play. One of the first aspects I notice is the moon at 13 degrees of Sagittarius forming a trine to Mars at 8 degrees of Leo, with Pallas Athena nearby, so they're in conjunction, fused together. Mars and Pallas Athena partners. 13 degrees of Leo, exact trine to this. This is bringing, on one level, with Moon and Sagittarius, seeking more open-mindedness, more big picture thinking, more self-mastery, more expansiveness, maybe more adventure. Maybe you're seeking a journey, be it a physical journey or a metaphorical one, seeking wisdom, truth, seeking justice. Has a need for space, craving freedom and adventure. But because Jupiter's now in Taurus, this is bringing a more grounded, practical, pragmatic, and patient energy into the equation, which is working in the same element, so harmonic flow, with Mars, a fiery planet in a fire sign. This is good, powerful, but when imbalanced, a bit self-centered and narcissistic, so watch for that. Mars in Leo, it's making us more active, creative, and passionate, bringing more energy and focus, especially on the self and self-expression. More energy for creativity and creative projects. I highly encourage you to tap into some sort of creative outlet at this time. If you're feeling a little uneasy about getting started, I recommend meditating, trying to clear your mind, keeping whatever your medium is, whether that's pen and paper for writing or art or music. Just keep it nearby, and you never know what might come out that you might later find to be something that not only is profoundly healing for yourself, healing for other people, and may be something that you could profit off of. You can have all of that. Highly recommend meditating and clearing the mind first and seeing what comes out. Automatic writing. Don't judge it. Don't edit it in the moment. Just let it flow. Notice whenever you work on guitar, or whenever you sing, or whenever you dance, or whenever you work on a creative project, the moment that logical mind comes in and starts thinking too much, you lose that flow state. You lose that creativity. Don't allow judgment or criticism to creep in. Just let it come out. And then once you have it out, that's when you can take that critical voice and come in with the edits. Let it flow first, and trust that what's coming out is going to be something amazing. Sorry, my past life Leo energy had to share that with you. It's bringing an energetic burst of creativity and expression. This is also forming a trine to Chiron in Aries, our deepest soul wound. So on the shadow, and I have seen a bit of it already, some narcissistic and self-centeredness, self-centered behavior, some interactions with people who like to remind you that their title is doctor 3 or 4 times within a 30-minute conversation. Little things like that. See if you notice that. I'd love to hear your feedback on what you notice with the transits as well. All right, one of the first major aspects involved is this fireworks. One of the first major aspects I notice is this North Node, point of fate and destiny, conjunction with Jupiter at 3 degrees. 3 goes to 2 degrees right after this conjunction. Taurus, while Jupiter moves the other direction into 4 degrees. What we love, value, our money, and our resources. It also, Taurus, could rule Earth and Earth's elements, the weather. We're experiencing a collective shift in values, an expansive vision rooted more in nature and pragmaticism and self-sustainability, reconnecting to Mother Earth after years of exploiting her. We're dedicating ourselves to self-improvement and self-mastery. We're asking ourselves where we might be over-consuming, over-farming, overfishing, overusing, where we're relying too much on instant gratification, materialism, an increased awareness as to what's in what we consume, both what we take in the forms of media and information, how that affects our outlook and our attitude, and sometimes even our mood, down to the ingredients that we consume on an ingredient and chemical level, and the greater impact that can have on our health. This is still in a grand fixed cross with Pluto, which was, and still is, with Mars and Leo, but Mars and Leo is coming out of this as Venus in Cancer coming into Venus and Leo replaces Mars. Mars and Pluto, having been in opposition to one another, working against each other, usually delivers karma, increased turmoil, and increased conflict. The next major notable aspect for this full moon in Sagittarius is the union of the higher mind with the lower mind, Uranus and Mercury at 19 to 20 degrees of Taurus. So prior to Mercury retrograde, back on April 21st, Mercury came within 2 degrees of Uranus, back around the 15 and 17 degree points of Taurus. Then Mercury got too far in its orbit from the sun. It always stays within one sign of the sun. Got pulled back for a rebirth in a kazemi, like a little boomerang, and is now moving forward back on its new rebirth through Taurus. Mercury has just left its post-retrograde shadow period under this full moon in Sagittarius. It is joining Uranus for a bit of electrifying, and then the energy is about to get even faster. First with this conjunction, and then with Mercury being in one of its signs of rulership in Gemini for a quick 2 weeks. It's quick and very beneficial, so mark that on your calendars. That'll be June 11th to June 26th. So Uranus is the highest evolution of Mercury, and Mercury rules the logical conscious mind. This is awakening people very quickly. Mercury is Hermes, the messenger between the sun and the underworld, representing Gemini energy and Mercury ruling over both Virgo and Gemini energies. Fast, mutable air, information, facts, traveling back and forth, with Uranus ruling networks and larger chains of information, collective consciousness, the highest evolution of Mercury and the highest evolution of ourselves. Uranus hasn't been to this degree point of Taurus, 20 degrees of Taurus, since 1939 to 1940. This is the final 10 degrees, aka final decan of Taurus, allowing us to focus on what we need moving forward, what we truly need, leaving behind what we don't. When Uranus and Mercury align, it brings invigorating brilliance, sudden downloads, quick revelations, ideas, innovations, and understandings, increases in communication, and unexpected news and developments. Keep a journal handy. You are going to have flashes of brilliance everywhere you go, no matter what sign your Mercury is in. I have given up caffeine because I found that this information is a little too stimulating for my moon and Mars in Gemini in a grand air trine to my sun, planetary ruler, Mercury, and North Node. A little too stimulating for what's going on right now. So I actually woke up, I think it was after 8-Man Jam. The moon was in Leo. The moon was shifting into Virgo, and it was almost like I could feel that anxiety was getting stronger. And I just decided, no caffeine tomorrow, or no coffee tomorrow. Let's switch to green tea. Let's do it very gently. Let's try something that has all sorts of additional health benefits and is a little bit more gentle on my system, because caffeine seems to be a little too much, and that's for everybody's different. I'm really sensitive to it these days. It was affecting my sleep as well. So if you're noticing that, if you're noticing increases in anxiety, increases in overthinking, you're needing to meditate more to clear the mind, all of that residual throughout the day is building up at night, creating insomnia. Definitely recommend cutting back on the stimulants and caffeine under this transit and through June. You don't need them. Trust me on this one. We're moving into alignment with our higher selves. We also have Uranus and Taurus influencing Pluto retrograde in Aquarius, which can be connected to earthquakes, typhoons. We just had a major one hit Guam. Wild weather events. It really has been a wild year. The last major aspect I want to go over is Venus at 29 degrees of Cancer, trine Neptune at 27 degrees, 27 minutes of Pisces. This is while Neptune at 27 degrees, 27 minutes of Pisces is forming an exact square to the galactic center at 27 degrees, 27 minutes of Sagittarius, bringing in increased connection to the esoteric and to the higher realms of consciousness. So depending on where you are in your spiritual journey, those will mean different things to different people. If you have specific questions about that, you can email me. I can send you my rates and information, and we can talk about some coaching with that. This will mean different things to different people. It could be gifts musically, it could be gifts spiritually, it could be gifts in many different ways. But you'll notice right now, the more open you are to it, so you have to clear away blocks. To remember, when you're manifesting, you have to make room. So if we're holding on to things, if we're hoarding, if we're holding on to negative emotions, limiting paradigms, toxic ingredients, toxic foods, toxic habits and addictions, if we're blocking, if we're with the wrong person, we need to make space for the right opportunity to come in. We need to, one, be able to recognize it when it comes knocking, be able to appreciate and express gratitude for it. We need to be open to love by being love and putting that love into ourselves, balancing those internal divine masculine yin and yang energies, and then be able to receive it and reciprocate it. So we're going through a major letting go and releasing for greater alignment. We're letting go of parts of self, we're letting go of people and substances that ultimately aren't good for us. You know, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You tend to think and even speak alike, so just be really cognizant of the music you listen to, the media you're watching, the content you're reading and absorbing, and how it affects your mindset and your overall outlook, because it really, as a moon and Mars in Gemini, there's a lot of power in words. With Neptune and Saturn both in Pisces, this is helping us clear what's not aligned, but it's also leaving us inspired and hope. It's very healing energy. Venus at 29 degrees of Cancer, this is that last critical analytic degree that carries all the weight of Pluto. So Venus is coming into some turbulent waters. She'll be shifting into Leo right after this transit on June 5th until my birthday, October 8th. It's a very long time for Venus to be in a sign, because there's a retrograde coming. So Venus, 29 degrees of Cancer, tumultuous degree, enters 0 degrees of Leo, immediate opposition to Pluto, Venus opposite Pluto, and square the nodes of fate and destiny, and with a Venus retrograde coming. That may not sound scary to all of you, but as a Libra rising with many placements in Libra, Venus retrogrades terrify me. Alright, that was a little dramatic. Maybe I'm feeling the Mars and Leo energy. This retrograde is for all of Leo season and dips its toes into Virgo season. It's from July 22nd to September 3rd, and it's from 28 degrees of Leo into 12 degrees, 12 minutes, 12-12 of Leo. Number 28 being that millionaire's degree, the household name, degree of fame, and 12-12 being a mirror number. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and comment. If you found anything of value in this video, be sure to check out these other videos.